The world's first ATM wasn't introduced by banks. It was introduced against them. A secret plan, a financial rebellion, and one man who risked everything to change money forever. This is the hidden war behind the first ATM. People think banks invented the ATM to make life easier, but the truth is, banks actually rejected the idea. They said it was dangerous. They said it encouraged fraud. They even said customers would never trust a machine with their money. But one man refused to accept that answer. His name was John Shepherd Barron, and he was about to start a silent war against the financial system. The story begins in London. It was the late 1960s. Banks closed early. Weekends meant no cash. People had to stand in long lines just to withdraw their own money. John, frustrated after missing bank hours yet again, had a wild idea. What if a machine could give people money anytime they needed it? But this wasn't just a dream. John was a visionary inventor, and he believed that access to money should not depend on a bank's timetable. He took his idea to multiple banks. They all laughed. They called him unrealistic. They said, people don't trust machines. They trust bank tellers. But John had something the banks didn't. A vision of a future where money was available 24/7. Banks shut the door on him. So he decided to build the future without their permission. John began working secretly in his workshop. He designed a machine that could read a coded check, a machine that could recognize a customer, a machine that could release cash without a human teller. But building the machine wasn't the risky part. The real danger was getting a bank to use it, because banks weren't just skeptical. They were terrified. A machine giving out cash? What if it malfunctioned? What if criminals hacked it? What if customers sued? John had answers to everything, but banks simply didn't want to change. So he went underground. He contacted engineers. He contacted chemists. He contacted security experts. Together, they quietly built a prototype in a locked basement. No bank knew this project even existed, and then came the secret deal. One bank manager from Barclays in North London heard whispers of John's invention. He didn't call a meeting. He didn't inform the board. He invited John to a private dinner. That dinner changed financial history. Over smoked salmon, John explained the invention. He drew diagrams on a napkin. He even showed the coded paper idea checks treated with a special chemical used in chocolate wrappers. The manager listened, fascinated. And then he broke every banking rule. He approved the installation without approval from the higher-ups. A secret green signal. A hidden financial rebellion. The world's first ATM was now officially underway. But there was a bigger problem. The machine had never been tested in public. If anything went wrong, the bank could collapse. John could be arrested. And the entire idea of machine-based banking could die before even starting. Yet the secret team moved forward. Late nights. Hidden construction. No public announcements. The world had no idea how close it was to a revolution. Installation night arrived. It was dark. The streets of Enfield, London were empty. A small truck pulled up outside the Barclays branch. A group of men carried a large metal box under a tarp. No logos. No identification. No permission from the banking board. This was an unsanctioned operation. The machine was installed into the wall. Wires were connected. Security plates were mounted. Every action was precise. Every step was silent. Because if anyone reported the activity, the entire project would be shut down. John watched nervously from across the street. Years of dreams were about to become real. But he felt something else too. Fear. Because he knew if the machine malfunctioned, he would be blamed for financial disaster. When the machine was finally secured, a new challenge appeared. Who would be the first person to test it? If the machine swallowed the check, if the mechanism jammed, if the cash released incorrectly, the project would collapse. So John made a decision. He asked a well-known local actor, Reg Varney, to perform the first withdrawal. The plan was clever. Using a celebrity would create buzz. It would make people trust the machine, but the truth was, even Reg was scared. The next morning, crowds gathered. Journalists watched from behind camera lenses. No one understood what was happening. They only saw a strange metal box sticking out of a wall. Then Reg stepped forward. He inserted the special check. A moment of silence. Everyone stared. The machine whirred, clicked, and then cash appeared. History was made in that single moment. The secret invention worked. The first ATM withdrawal on Earth had succeeded. But the war wasn't over. because banks were furious. They hadn't approved this. They hadn't tested it. They didn't even believe in it. Barclays executives demanded to know who authorized the installation. Rumors spread inside the financial world. Some called it innovation. Some called it stupidity. Some even called it financial terrorism. But customers loved it. People could finally get cash without waiting for bank hours. Crowds lined up day and night. The bank had no choice but to accept the machine. But once they accepted it, they wanted to control it. They wanted to improve it. They wanted to claim they invented it. John suddenly found himself in a new battle. Now that banks realized the ATM worked, they wanted the patents. They wanted the credit. They wanted the profit. John had to fight back. For years, he defended his invention. Contracts, meetings, negotiations, lawsuits. Despite the pressure, he never let go of his creation. He believed that technology should serve people, not just banks. And that belief kept the ATM alive. Soon, more banks demanded ATM machines. Then more countries. The invention spread like wildfire. Machines appeared in streets, airports, malls, everywhere. But behind the global success was a dark truth. The same banks that had rejected the idea now pretended they had supported it from day one. History almost erased the rebellion that created the ATM. But the truth never stays buried forever. As the ATM expanded worldwide, criminals also began to study it. They saw opportunity. A machine full of cash? No teller watching? It became the target of robberies, hackers, card thieves. For the first time, crime and finance collided inside a metal box. Engineers had to redesign the ATM again and again. Stronger locks, encrypted systems, hidden cameras. But criminals grew smarter. They developed skimming devices, fake keypads, miniature cameras. Banks fought back with chip cards. Biometric verification, time-locked safes inside the machine. It became a digital arms race. Every new security update brought a new criminal technique. But the ATM survived because people needed access to money more than ever. And while banks and criminals battled behind the scenes, John Shepherd Barron watched quietly from the sidelines. He saw his invention grow far bigger than he ever imagined. What began as a secret rebellion had become a global infrastructure. Today, millions of ATMs stand across the world. People rely on them every single day. They trust them with their money. They trust them with their identity. They trust them with their safety. But very few know the truth. That the ATM was not born from corporate planning. It was born from frustration, from risk, from rebellion. One man against an entire system. One invention that banks never wanted. One secret operation that changed the world of finance forever. So the next time you walk up to an ATM, remember the story behind it. A story of hidden battles. A story of courage. A story of crime, risk, and innovation. A story that proves sometimes the biggest revolutions begin in silence. And sometimes one person's idea can break every rule and still change the world. If you want more hidden stories from finance and crime, subscribe now, like the video, and tell me which secret invention you want next.